Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Guinness Six Nations 2024 competition. And boy, this round has had a lot of curves and a lot of roundabouts, I guess you could say. Not many expected to see the results that we did, but because of it, it means that these two sides have to work extremely hard, being Wales and France, to try and get themselves ahead of the Italians. Now, that's something that not many people thought they would hear at this stage of the Six Nations competition. But currently, Ireland are sitting at the top of the bunch. They have got themselves these 16 points. The Grand Slam is gone due to the defeat of the Irish by the English, who now sit in second place on 12. Scotland, they were defeated by Italy, so they had the golden opportunity to be sitting more than likely on 15 points with it all to play for in the final game up against the Irish. Didn't quite work out that way. And Italy now on 7. France on 6 actually still have a chance of winning the Six Nations. Now, it is only the smallest of chances, and they need to walk away with a winning bonus point from this contest away from home at the Principality. That is a task and a half, but we're yet to really see France turn up for this stage of the Six Nations competition. So perhaps randomly, this could be the best game that we do see them play. Looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Welsh. Now, there was a late injury change in the number 2 jersey. Rather than Ryan Elias, it is actually Elliot Dee having his 50th appearance for the Welsh in this contest. Alongside him in the front row, it is Kieran Azarati and Gareth Thomas as the two props. Will Rowland and Adam Beard in the locking duo, with Duff Jenkins number 6, Tommy Reffel number 7, and Aaron Wainwright slotting in as the number 8. Thomas Williams and Sam Costello, the 19 combo. Rio Dye out on one wing, Josh Adams out on the other, with Watkin and Roberts in the midfield, and the youngster Cameron Winnett, who has actually had a pretty good Six Nations competition. Not many people knew about him before this comp. He's almost got that number 15 jersey secured. Now, that is a bold statement, and of course he's got to continue that momentum. He's had a few good performances, but Wales are still sitting in the position of they need a win. They've had France have had 1 win, 1 draw. Wales sitting at the top or the bottom of the bunch with the 3 points. They could actually move right up into 4th, though, if they have a good performance here. Looking through at this French starting lineup, settled by as the number 1, Julien Monchamp at 2, rather than Peter Malvaca, who has had more starting minutes throughout the Six Nations competition, and Yui Antonio starting in as a number 3, Emmanuel Mierfou alongside Flamand as the locking duo, Francois Cruz at 6, Charles Olivon as 7, and Gregory Aldrit starting in as a number 8. Now, they've actually gone with a bold change here, and that is Nolan Legarrec to be starting at 10 with starting at 9 with Thomas Ramos at 10. Now, that is rather than the combination that they have had, which is Gellerberg, who I believe is injured at the moment from last week, or the week prior, and then alongside him, normally at number 9 we have seen Maxime Luku, but they've decided to make way and give Legarrec the starting minutes rather than coming off the bench. Deporteri is in the midfield alongside Galficu, and then Belbari, Damien Pinot, and then Berg there at number 15. So these games very important, but of course next week just as important. We are going to see someone win the Six Nations, whether that is the Irish already after that Scottish game, or whether that means that England's door is wide open to not just beat Ireland in the Six Nations in their past game, but also maybe take down the French in France. It's going to be a tough one. Definitely if France start finding their form, which everyone's waiting for, but we haven't seen it yet. But they have just shown the starting lineups. The national anthems have been sung, ladies and gentlemen, which means we are very close to the start of this contest. But I hope you are all doing well. This game taking place at the Principality Stadium. Now, Wales, they are considered underdogs for this contest, but I'll be honest, it's the round of the underdogs. Across Super Rugby and the Six Nations, of the games we've seen so far, 7 out of the 8 underdogs have walked away with victories. Whether that's the Hurricanes, whether that's the Reds beating the Chiefs, the Drua beating the Crusaders, Moana Pacifica getting themselves the win, of course the Italians beating Scotland, and no one will be forgetting that game between England and Ireland for a little while as well. But this back line, I should say, for the French, it does bring a few concerns. Portier on debut, number 15, also very new. And this lineup for Barret will be extremely interesting to see how this French side go with the changes that they've had to make. Thomas Ramos, I feel like, has to really step up here for the French. Whereas for Wales, they have got that similar combo of Thomas Williams and Sam Costello. Now, it hasn't been familiar before this year. They normally have Dan Bigger, of course. They normally have Liam Williams there rather than Cameron Winnett. But now, the match ball about to be presented. And then from there, we are ready to go for this contest, ladies and gents. Looking through at the recent fixtures, Wales had a close game up against the Scottish. They almost came back from 27-0 down to get themselves the victory there. They were then beaten by the English by 2 points. So those two games could have gone either way. Not so much for that game up against the Irish, although with the exception of now England, I actually thought that was the best that any side had played up against the Irish throughout this Guinness Six Nations competition. Then for the French, of course, we saw them defeated by the Irish. We saw them defeated by Scotland. They did get a little bit lucky in the final moments of that contest, but sometimes you need luck. And 13 all up against the Italians. Some would say they got lucky in that game too. This one's going to be so important, not just for the French confidence, but also for a little bit of their Six Nations campaign. They do not want to finish below the Italians, which is, it's an interesting one because it used to be considered an insult. It used to be you don't want to be lower than Italy. Italy, a lot of people saying maybe even could get relegated from the Six Nations. But now the way that they're playing and the great sides that find themselves below Italy, I don't think will be going anywhere. We have got there, sorry, I missed the England versus Ireland game, but it's no worries. If you are doing extremely well, who have you got for this one? I'll be honest, with the changes in the French backline, I do see Wales as a very good option. I mentioned that they were underdogs. I think that after the team lineups were announced, the odds did close quite nicely, so it might actually be a little bit more 50-50, but inside of their own 22, it's kicked downfield, and Thomas Williams hasn't been able to find the touchline, so the youngster, Barry, and number 15. Off to the left-hand side, Thomas Ramos. They've said they've got two big boys in that midfield combo alongside the fullback jersey, trying to use some size. Although they've lost a lot of ground there. Picked up again there for Bear. And Wales for the win, and good morning, Kiwi lads. Here's Blues, they welcome in, and that is going to be the early penalty won by the Welsh. And Mo, they did show Max Boyce. And Peacock TV said this game was start at 10 a.m., saying it started 63 minutes ago. Says Mo, and time travel, says Fluffy. But yeah, this game just kicking off, first 50 seconds have now taken place, and it looks like Wales are going to be lining up the early 3 points. Similar to what we saw for Ireland in their game up against England last night, getting the points on the board early just to really advance the game in some regards, and also up against the French side. You know that they will consider a few penalty options here and there, although there's also the chance that they come out absolutely firing because they have been struggling for form. They've been struggling to score tries, but it was Sam Costello now be lining up this one. Galtier under a lot of pressure as French coach, and I have to say more pressure than he's probably ever been under before. After the World Cup at home for France did not go their way, and a lot of stuff behind closed doors that is happening for the French. Could be on his way sooner than we think. We change our clock 1 hour ahead. 2 a.m. for daylight savings, but that kick from Costello was straight down the middle. Does now make the score 3-0 in favour of their home side. Now that is a great start, but they have to keep that tempo going, have to try and push the pace up against this French side. Just looking quickly at the odds for this one, ladies and gents. Yeah, Wales are $3.10 underdogs. In fact, no, $2.80 now. So even, see, that's a big surprise. Like they've just said, France haven't got their first choice 10. They haven't got their second first choice 10. They've got a new fullback. They've got a new 12. They've got a decent fullback, but they have got a few players missing compared to what we saw in the last games. So Yeah, I mean, this Welsh side, they haven't made too many changes. And I think it's actually really going to benefit them throughout this contest. But the rolling ball for France just starting up. I wonder if I get a trifecta of upsets. Says Burning Lash, so I assume in that case you've gone with the Welsh in this contest. Now going back across to the left-hand side, Ramos trying to break his way through. Damien Pinot, good strength shown by that man. To the left-hand side, Galfiku, being taken down nicely. Legatic, getting those starting minutes. We don't have daylight savings in Queensland. Farmers' wives complain about the curtains fading. Says Fluffy. Now Legatic again. What's your prediction for this game? I am going a Welsh win. I see it as a game that a Welsh side that has been playing well but have been pretty unlucky have got a good chance of winning. And tell you what, that's great hustle in the breakdown from Will Rowlands. Hasn't quite turned it over. Luke Pearce says the ball is on the side of France. Now big rolling. More there from Mirfo. Yui Antonio tackled low by Tommy Riffle. Our Kiwi lads are rockers from sunny Cape Town, says Ruth. Now back away to the left-hand side, inside ball to the young man on debut. Face play at the moment from the French. They have got themselves 11 in a row. Wide cut-out pass to Galfiku. I can agree with you on that one, says Lexamon. Plus, like I said earlier on, 7 out of the 8 underdogs this round have won. So, by that statistic and by those percentages, you'd think that Wales have actually a pretty decent chance with the fact that they're also at home. That is a massive booster for them. They almost came back from being 27-0 down at the same ground at the start of the Six Nations. Galfiku, though, nice run. Taken down by Josh Adams. Now short side. Balbari trying to show off his stepping. Now, there were rumours that he was considering sevens at one point alongside, I think it was Jalabert, who thought he might give it a bit of a crack. Only Dupont going to the sevens at this stage and walking away with a gold medal in LA. Nice run from Gregory Aldrit. Slowly but surely marching towards the try line. There is the line out for Luke Pearce, or the arm out, I should say, and it is going to be the penalty for France straight out in front of the posts, which is always looking absolutely awesome. I think I'm looking absolutely sunburnt at the moment. I've been out in the sun for 2 days, and a man as white as me should not be out in the sun for 2 days. So hopefully it's just windburn rather than pure sunburn. I did put a lot of sunscreen on, but still got me, I think. I told you yesterday that England is going to beat Ireland, says the Black Star Mon, and come here the points, or here come the points, says Fluffy. Yeah, they have decided to opt for the 3 points here rather than going for the 7. France. Already we're seeing quite a bit from Galfiku in the early stages, and that's important because they haven't got Jonathan Dante, of course, from the last game. We don't get to see that man. Also, not having Jalabert is a massive hit for them. Looks like already we're seeing some strapping on Joe Roberts' right ankle. Now, they did go without George North in this game, and also Nick Tompkins being left out as well. That kick is good from Ramos. Now, after 6 minutes, makes the score 3-all between these two sides. I think they're just comparing Thomas Ramos' kicking to golf. Very easy swing of his boot, they've said. Ankle strap on, says Fluffy. I mean, his ankle's pretty much getting held together here. Oh, yeah, I think he just twisted it a little bit. And, yeah, he was in a lot of discomfort. Now, that's pretty concerning. He's trying to run back to halfway. He doesn't look like he's completely comfortable, but it looks like he is going to continue this match. Rio Dyer chasing after that, kickoff hard. It's a good shot coming in on Mia Fu. A little bit of a size discrepancy between those two men. France inside of their own 22. Legatic has been told to use it. It's a decent kick overall. This is a big opportunity for him because there is no Baptiste Kuyu in the starting line. There is no Maxime Luku in the starting side. Like, they've got Maxime Luku off the bench, but there's a few French halfbacks other than Dupont that would have loved this opportunity, but they have given it to Legatic, who, I'll be honest, last couple of years has looked extremely solid. Perhaps could be a very good option moving forward for the French. Wainwright claims that line out. Now Williams sits up for Rio Dyer. Charges at the line. Julio Malchon looking for the turnover, but there were 3 Welsh cleaners who all came into the breakdown to cut him out. Thomas Williams searching for that ball. Going to the right-hand side. Nice stepping. Sitting in the pub up the road for my Liverpool supporters having Castle Lager go Liverpool, because they are playing Man City, aren't they, at the same time as this match has taken place. Cross kick attempted from the Welsh, not claimed cleanly by Damien Penaud. And Wales have got this ball back now. Elliot D going across, the advantage is over. Sam Costello trying to break through. Legatic has lined him up. It's just a massive, massive frame of a man. Chuck a jug for me, Ruthie, says Fluffy, and also come on Wales, says Brian. But now they've got space here, Wales. Wainwright going to Josh Adams. Tries to back himself. He's bumped off the tackle with Damien Penaud, but is dragged down in the next effort of Legatic. Flat ball from Costello right in front of the referee. There's play on. Thomas Williams goes off to this left-hand side now. Rio Dyer, great low tackle. Doesn't get the turnover. Olivon selling a dummy there from Williams. You can see France are just ruthless in the breakdown, trying to get that all-important turnover. But until they get it, it means that there's space, and Rio Dyer up the middle scores between the posts, and that will give the Welsh the lead 10 points to 3 now. It is the easiest conversion that we will see for Sam Costello of today. But like I mentioned, France were committing 2 or 3 men into each breakdown, trying to rip that ball away from the Welsh. But because Wales were defending it and keeping those men in there with the clean out, it meant that there was massive open space right next to the breakdown. And Rio Dyer spotted that from a mile away, ran straight through, and does get the try for Wales. Yeah, it was a great run from Thomas Williams, but we saw the 2-man tackle. Legatic was down because he had just made that tackle, and then the bounce of the ball favourable. And we're already, says Burning Lash, after the first 10 minutes, we are going to see Wales with a 10-point lead. A 10-point-to-3 lead. They'll be more than happy with that, I would think. It's always fantastic work when you score a try early, but this is now going to make the score 10 points to 3, like I mentioned with that kick from Sam Costello. Going over, he's got pure pace. Rio Dyer when he gets through. And this game is going to be no different. And it seems like this French side, once again, just making little mistakes on the field. Now, that could be because of the changes that they've had to make, but Wales are still considered underdogs. $2.25 under in this matchup. Nicely claimed by Aaron Wainwright. And great win for Italy, says Outlaw. It was a fantastic win for a side that I feel like have silenced a lot of critics throughout this Six Nations competition. I know some people would be like, oh, but they've only won 1 game, but they've drawn with France. They had a close game up against the English. Like, they've had a much better Six Nations campaign than anyone really gave them credit for. And a nice one. Rio try. Good evening, Ruth. Says Blues, Nathan, keep going. Wales, keep up the pressure. And Wales try, says Brian. Now, standing start for Will Rowlands. I'm rooting for Wales and Liverpool. Amazing games at the same time, Hamish. Says Ruth. Thomas Williams rolling this one back. We put high. And slap back. Oh, that was a foot trip there from Charles Olivon. He's actually really got Watkin. Off to the right side. Now Thomas Ramos almost managing to go through the gap. Legatic. Shaw Borio Antonio has knocked the ball on. Cameron Winnett just trying to get rid of that ball. We have got there a boost, says Mark. Hamish, we covered the last day on New Zealand versus Australia Test. Can Black Caps win it? Says Tony. I'll be honest, I knew it was today, right? And I was just considering watching it. I had at no point even remotely considered streaming that one, which I guess I probably should have. We'll see. I mean, I'm running off like 1 hour or 2 hours of sleep for the past day and a half, which isn't ideal, so I might end up falling asleep during it, but we'll see. It's going to be a good finish, though, and I hope that it does go down to the wire. It was great atmosphere last night at the cricket during that final session when New Zealand were taking those few wickets. Matt Henry was a very popular man. 12 and a half minutes through at the moment in this contest, and Wales have got themselves the scrum feed. They have a 70 kg disadvantage at scrum time, so a lot more size coming for this Welsh team here, or sorry, for this French side, and the disadvantage heavily in favour of Wales. But weight is not always a good thing when it comes to the scrum, although in this case it's worked very well for the French, and they will get themselves the penalty. Still be a better comms man than Ian Smith, even if he were asleep. Oh no, Smithy's quite good. He's been on the radio recently alongside one of the other fellas. I can't remember what his name is, but they both do the radio commentary now rather than the actual commentary. Just Scotty Stevenson, Brendan Julian and whatnot for this one. And I am what happened to the Crusaders. They lost by 10 points. Unfortunately, just haven't found their form yet for the season. They are sitting 3 losses from 3, which is a rarity for them. They haven't gone to watch it in the ground. You said 2 and 3 day tickets were there. Says coding. Yeah, so I'm back at home now. We just travelled about maybe 6 hours ago. Something like that. Came home, set up the stream, had a few other things to get done. There's a random long key there. I don't know if that's mine. But yeah, then now we're here. I would love to see Wales win this one. Says Brian, that kick is successful from France, though, after winning the penalty, so they will now make the score 10 points to 6. What has been quite a seesaw between these two sides. I would love to see Wales win this one. I think a lot of people would, because theoretically that would mean, I wonder when the last time was that we've seen every side in the Six Nations win at least one game. Like normally the wooden spoon side are the ones who have at least lost all their games, but it seems like this year is going to be different. Hope Wales wins. I have 10k on them. Ugh, why would you do that, Mikhail? I mean, hopefully it pays off here, but to be fair, I said that I thought they would win, but I wouldn't put a tenner on them, like as in $10 rather than 10,000. Think Southey should retire. He's bowling so slowly. Says Coney, although he bowled all right in that evening session, put some good pressure on Travis. He had almost found the outside edge at one point. Now Belpare almost able to go through. France just inside of their half. Flat ball going to Flamand. Got the offload away to Legaric, and now Thomas Ramos will kick this one downfield. Nicely controlled by Cameron Winnett. And taken inside of the 22 again. I've got there Hamish has the moustache of a champion commentator. That's a great kick from France. Close to the 50-22. Thomas Williams keeps it in the field of play. And out of roof, don't drink in moderation. Says Fluffy, that one is not going to be taken quickly by France. Great kick from Sam Costello, though. Who's this Ben Sears? Sears is making debut bowling really fast. He's just a very good young bowler in terms of the way that he thinks as well. Because there were times last night, like it was actually the day prior to that, they had told him to just bowl a little bit short and he was getting whacked all around the park. And last night he actually got to pitch the ball up and showed that when he does, can pick up crucial wickets. He got the wicket of Marnus Labuschagne. Also getting the wicket of Cam Green, but that is now going to be in the hands of Owen Watkin for the Welsh. Ryan Elias not playing in this game, which meant that Elliot D got to come into the starting lineup for his 50th cap. That is the only late injury change that we saw made between these two sides. There is an advantage in favour of the French. Legaric has kicked it in behind. Damien Penaud chasing this one, but the ball just curves out. And now it is going to be the line out to the Welsh. I'm feeling really sad for Smith. Don't know what is happening. He should bat at 4. Says coding. Yeah, but it's his own fault is the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, if the coaches had thrown him in the deep end and said, you're opening, mate, I feel like I'd feel slightly worse for him. But the fact that he said, oh, look at how many runs I can get at number 4, bet you I can do the same thing when I open, it's just not the same thing, though. He's been dry in terms of the amount of runs that he's been able to score, but he's the one who wanted to take on the opening role rather than giving someone like a Matty Renshaw or Cam Bancroft or any of those other openers a chance. They're a crack. Now 45 metres out from the line. Oh, hang on, it was kicked out on the full by Joe Roberts. And that brings frustration for him, but also a little bit of a glimmer of hope for the French to be able to drive forward. Get themselves a try. Who does Sears play for in domestic cricket? Oh, is he a Northern Districts boy? I have a very quick look because I think Ben Sears. What do we got? Who's he play for? Oh, Wellington is where he plays. That is going to be a rolling ball that is unsuccessful for the Welsh. Means now that it is going to be the scrum feed for Wales. Only about 15 metres out from their own line. Wales doing okay. Lee Harpenny and Reece Patchell on Super Rugby debuts. Duties. Sears Blues Nate. And the Black Caps is the team. Our team's tail enders get 50s and 100s, says Yikes. And also, hi, Average Bro, says Michelle. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. But yeah, like having Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh at the crease is massive for the Aussies, and they certainly aren't out of it yet. Like the fact that they still need 200 runs as well, like that's a good 2.5 sessions left that we have to see of that test match. But it's going to be a good one. Now, ball's going to be fed in by Thomas Williams. Oh, looks like got a bit of a stoppage here again. Front row's not quite getting their feet set. I'll not be surprised if New Zealand falters and gives it away to Australia. Well, I think that Ian Smith on the radio on the way home yesterday said it best. The guys who normally dig in to win a test match are out. Kawaja, Labuschagne, Smith. But the guys who hit their way to win a test match are currently at the crease. That being Mitchell Marsh and Travis Head. So a quick fire 100 for either of those two, or even just 100 in general, completely changes the game. And Lol, put your house on it, coding. And also, we have got there, mate. I was so happy and terribly drunk when that drop goal had a triumph that my TV broke. Now I don't even know. Now I had to buy a new one, says Kitson. So it is not ideal. You had to get yourself a new TV. Hopefully it is big and you are loving the Six Nations action of this game already. We've seen one try for the Welsh, but that is the only try that we have seen throughout the first 20 minutes of this contest. Big attacking run again from Miafu. He wasn't held, so is able to go again. Hope things are lekker, Hamish. They are doing very well, mate. Hope you are well too. Now, Delfiku. Nice sit-down tackle. Bump off from Fiku. Aldrit thought about the offload. Now Leggett going to the short side. Quick hands. Beautifully done from the French. Now Louis Belbarry. It's available again for this French side inside of the 22. And they've actually been inside of Wales 22 more than Wales have been in their 22. Still on neighbours' TV. Says, Fluffy, that only works till your neighbours come over and say, hey, did you see who stole my TV? Oh, that looks like my TV. Nice pass out wide. Galfiku missed the fence. Tackle from Sam Costello. And the French are in for the first time in this contest. Unfortunately, in a one-on-one scenario, you cannot afford to miss a tackle, and that is what Sam Costello just found out. Can New Zealand make history tomorrow against Australia? Australia 77 for 4 at day 3. Can New Zealand levels the series here after 1993 last win New Zealand soil? Says the show. I mean, they've got a decent chance, but they do need to get the early wickets, and I think that the big man to try and do that is Matt Henry. You've also got Ben Sears now. Kugelein's got that bit of a foot injury, so I'm not sure whether he will actually be bowling tomorrow. So it does put them one seamer short. Maybe Southey needs to be the one who steps up as well. And tip, don't invite neighbours over to watch TV. Pretty much, I would say, is the reasoning there. But Nice finish. Like I said, Sam Costello, he will be disappointed that he wasn't able to stop Galfiku in his one-on-one. The only man who wasn't happy about that one was Galtier by the looks of it. Looking on in disgust at his sideways. Kugelheim playing and said Satner can be handy. Says coding. I mean, even another pacer would have been a good option. And this one, and don't get me wrong, like Kugelheim's innings, where he got himself that 44, that could be crucial for the Black Caps in terms of their overall test match. Those are a lot of extra runs. I mean, we look at someone like a Southey who got out for the Duck. I have an awesome story about Tim Southey going out for the Duck, though, because I literally called his wicket at the start of the day, and I called the exact way that he would go out. But I won't tell you why on this one. If we end up doing that live stream, I'll tell you why I thought he was going to go out in that way, or why I knew he would. But 23 minutes in, and the score now 10 points to 13 in favour of the French. One close to the touchline, but nicely taken by Damien Pinot. What is in the score update? It normally waits to make sure there's no TMO interference or anything, so it's normally like a minute late after, once again, the kick has gone over. Then that's normally when it does update. Wales going to have government supervised alcohol allowed for one night if Wales wins. And also Irish TV, isn't that a radio? Says Fluffy. That's going to be nicely claimed by Cameron Winnett on the sideline. 24 minutes in, and currently the French have got themselves the 3-point advantage. Quite a few French supporters making the trip here. No, they can't fish. They will lose before. No. 200 runs for Australia in one session would be massive. But then saying that, look at who they've got at the crease. It is well, I'd like to think it wouldn't quite be possible, because that would be scoring at 6.5 and over the whole session. But by the time the two first sessions are happening, they're going to be extremely close to either Australia winning or New Zealand winning. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. And will the Pong ever come back to 15 men rugby? I think he will after the Olympics, because at the end of the day, I don't think he has many intentions of staying with this French side after he's been able to play at the Olympics. Nice sell a dummy. And now on the inside, Thomas Williams after the tackle bust from Watkin. They've got another one. And last New Zealand were also chasing, and they bundled out under lunch, so it can happen. And Hayden Bison could do it in a session, says Fluffy. I don't know about a session and a half maybe. But like 6.5 and over for a whole session it's pretty tricky to do. They can score 10 and over at times, but I think there'll be a few quiet overs in there as well. Okay, then they'll lose before 10 a.m. Says yikes. Game starts at 11, doesn't it? 25 minutes into this contest. Very nicely done for Thomas Williams and Wales, who will now take the lead back 15 points to 13. And now the kick, it is nice and easy out in front for Sam Costello. Shouldn't have any problems with this one. And the kick is over. Now making the score at 25.5 minutes in. 17 points to 13. It's been a right seesaw between these two sides. New Zealand definitely win. I trust Southey bowling. Definitely taking wicket tomorrow, says Vishal. And yeah, they actually brought Blundell up to the wickets yesterday, just to try and stop the advancement of Mitchell Marsh. And every rugby stream I initiate the cricket conversation, rest of them follows, says Coding. So pretty much what you've said is, for any of the rugby ones who hate when we talk about cricket, you've pretty much said it's completely your fault, which I'm sure they won't mind being able to blame someone for it. And France defence is poor in the middle, 2 tries there. Says Blues, no, yeah, just cutting through that little channel next to the breakdown seems to be the spot where Wales have been able to target and where they've found success throughout this first half. It is inside of the 22, so Thomas Williams does kick this one downfield, nicely taken by the fullback buddy. Cricket for weirdos. Anyway, a few upsets this weekend. Another one here. Could be, although Barbary trying to cause an upset of his own and score a try just before the halftime break. The Poitier doesn't quite break through. Cyril Bay. Tackle well. Legaric. Now short ball. Ramos gets it away to you, Antonio. Legaric again. going to Julio Mochon, and Dante's replacement isn't great. He's on debut though, so to be fair to him, it's a pretty tough pair of boots to follow. Just joined that breakdown, although he hasn't actually joined it that well. To be fair, now kicked in behind Balbari, waiting for the bounce, but win it. Here's his, he just cleans it up. It's going to be more than likely a 5-metre scrum for the French here. And targeting the middle, turn him inside hello, Mark Talia. Yeah, baseball is the best, Fluffy. And also, I never say die. Wales get going, France are dangerous. Says Ruth. Bro, can you stream that match in early morning in India? Should be 5 a.m. Before lunchtime win. Says Vishal. I mean, I would like to. There was also a part of me, of course, who would have liked to watch it outside of the stream, just to really soak in that kind of environment of it. But, I mean, a stream could be an option. If I've only slept for like 2 hours throughout the last 30-something hours, I might as well stay up for another 12. That's the system that we've got at the moment. Yes, Wales score time, Dragons on the move. This has been the best round of the games of the Six Nations so far, says Brian. And it's been unpredictable because you just never know who's going to be walking away with the victory. 2 underdogs winning in this round of the Six Nations. Now, Legaric does feed that ball in. Being told to use it, France. Eldred, bracket of the back, Legaric with the flat ball to Galfiku. And yes, they haven't got Dante, but that man has stepped up more than we normally see. And it's another try here for the French. This time, right through the middle. Looks like the young halfback, Legaric, has scored the try. Oh, yeah. Says Fleshin. But only 4 caps to his name. His last 3 have been off the bench. His first start for the Welsh, for the French, come on Wales, win something, definitely best round, save the Six Nations this year. Says cool story, bro. Yeah, I'll be honest, like Scotland will be kicking themselves because the fact that they could have been on 15 points going into this round rather than the 11 or the 12 that they are now on, like it could have made a big difference in the overall outcome of the last weekend of the Six Nations, which is going to be, of course, next weekend. Hamish Blow, please do special stream if New Zealand win the match. I was joined that stream. I wanted to celebrate New Zealand victory tomorrow at stream. Says Michelle. 30 minutes in. Thomas Ramos going to be lining up this kick. 3 from 3 at the moment, and it has gone over. They'll make the score 20 points to 17. Tell you what, she's a high score in first half. We went from 10 points to 6 after about 20 to now the next 10 minutes or so. Both sides have pretty much doubled it. And by Hamish a car, and he'll do a special stream for you, Vish. It's Fluffy. The pub is packed. I can hardly breathe. Men in red shirts everywhere, says Roof. And they will be, they'll be liking what they've seen from Wales in terms of the fact that they've scored the 2 tries. Looks like Tommy Reffel now getting a little bit of medical attention. But there is also that other side of things, which is, like, they are still down by 3. And come on, Wales, back at the French. Try time, come on now. Just showing here, Tommy Reffel. Oh, it's Rio Dyer's teammate who's kind of landed on his foot. It's a party if New Zealand wins. Says Michelle, the first time in over 30 years that the Kiwis would win on New Zealand soil. They're in the perfect position to be able to do so. It's quite cool in a way if they did win, because I can then say, sadly, I won't be there for today. That was probably the biggest downside of it. But if they do somehow win, which I'm not saying they will, I'm not jinxing anything, but the first win in 30 years on New Zealand soil, I would have been at the game, and I'm only 24 years of age. So the fact that it's been longer than the time that I've been alive since New Zealand have got themselves a win on New Zealand soil against Australia is absolutely massive. It'd be great to see Aussie to lose and see their faces, although, of course, don't underestimate Australia. Soon as people underestimate Australia, that's when they win. We've seen them do it before, and we will see them do it again. Maybe not in this case, but, you can't underestimate the Aussies. And cricket and skateboarding have stood the test of time, Says, cool story, bro. 31 minutes through at the moment. 3 points difference between these two sides. And Elliot D to throw the ball in. Gets it straight to Adam Beard. Thomas Williams in behind to Rio Dyer. Trying to cut his way through the defence. Hamish is still king commentary. Kiwi Lads rocks this planner. Hamish best looking so far. Says Ruth, that kick is out on the full from Wales. That is their second in this half now that they have put out on the full. That was Sam Costello this time. He's had a bit of a mixed game at this point. I tried to go for the jibber behind, and he's misread it terribly. He's actually kicked that one straight out on the full by maybe about 3 or 4 metres. Now France have got the possession. Gregory Aldrit driving towards the line. Legaric now offloading away to Julio Marchand. And player Akadaka, Roof back in blacks. And proud moment don't miss of New Zealand tomorrow creating history. Fans are crazy. Says Michelle, though the fans at the ground, to be honest, on day 2 were very, very quiet compared to what I was expecting. Now Legaric does put the ball high. Damien Pinot slaps it back onto the side of the French. Massive slam pass from Legaric. I don't know if that's where he intended for it to go, but it is now a counter-attacking chance for the French. Barbarie gets the bounce of the ball. This could be try of the season for France if they can get it, but Wales bundle him into touch. Brilliant defence. Breakdancing at the Paris Olympics will be fun, says Fluffy. If we win the cricket tomorrow, I will finish work early and tell my Aussie boss to lick my crazy Kiwi nut pouch. Maybe don't do that, yikes. Maybe just, maybe you could finish early and be like, hey, because we won. They have such easy names, says Jack Bota. And also we have good there. Have you considered doing some women's cricket commentary? Not really, no. And it's not because, once again, people always go, oh, why won't you do the women's game too? But it's not so much because I don't want to. It's just more the schedules. We hardly get time to sleep as it is. And adding another whole competition or another whole few games to cover on the channel will just end up with me getting even less sleep than I already do. Oh, yeah, there, your break dancing has hung in there. And Disco has barely hung in there, but still hangs around. So it's a cool story, bro. Now, 10 metres out from their own line here, Wales, after some brilliant defence. Judy out, Aussie. Okay, yeah, no, maybe don't say that to the boss. Now off to their right-hand side. And Tommy Reffel almost got the turnover there. Ramos kicking this one towards the touch line, and it goes out only maybe about 2 metres out from the Welsh try line. That is a perfect kick from Ramos. Of course, those type of risks come with rewards. You do get it right. But he just perfectly placed that over the top of Cameron Winnett. Gets him within the 5 metres. And you can see as soon as it went over Winnett's head, he knew that he was in trouble. We were there, come on Wales. And the chat, and they are currently only 5 metres out from their own line, but nicely claimed by the captain, Duff Jenkins. And Tommy Reffel, inside ball, another channel opens up for the Welshman. Wainwright has dropped that ball. And it's gone into touch. Watching from South Africa. Thanks for cricket updates too. Go the Black Cats, says Jono there. Yeah, by the sounds of it, we might be doing the live stream later on tonight, later on today for the cricket, which will be happening in 6 hours, 20 minutes or so. Oh. Okay, so Luke Pearce having a big chat here with Wales at the moment in regards to their receiver in the line-out. Oh, and he speaks French too. And come on, France, says at the net, currently still with that 3-point lead. The way that the odds sit, Wales are considered $3.60 underdogs in this contest. If there's another try here for the French, perhaps that could increase to even more. Legaric has been able to score 1 try for the French in this game in his first start in his young career, only his 4th cap, already being given a golden opportunity here. Now offloaded him on from Deportier, Gets it across Damien Pinot to Portier. Oh, beautifully stolen by Tommy Reffel. Gets the turnover for the Welsh. Thomas Williams now passing out wide. Goes to Watkin. In fact, this time it's Roberts. Go on, Wales. Only because of Gats. Can you speak Afrikaans? Only like 2 sentences or like 2 sayings, I would say. Right, it's gone backwards. Says the referee, and now it is back in the hands of this French side. Thought about the wide pass. Goes on the inside to Galfiku, though, who got the offload away to Charles Oliphant. Couldn't go through. This is a very telling moment in the game because with 3 minutes remaining in the half, whoever can score now gets momentum heading into the second 40. And for the French, if they score, that could actually be a lead of 10 points. And France look good considering all the replacements. Says Gus, yeah, they're doing a lot better in this game than I did anticipate for them. I thought that they might struggle with the adjustments that they've had to make, but I think Legatic has really held this back line together quite well. Now he's going for the little chip in behind, trying to play the territory game here up against the Welsh. Sam Costello, not a lot of space to work with. Does put the ball into touch. I speak better Afrikaans than most Afrikaners. Says Fluffy. Costello, he's looking under pressure throughout this game, and I don't know if he's handling it that well. Originally, we saw the clean turnover for Tommy Reffel and the breakdown. I think that saw Francois Cruz trying to go for that turnover, or trying to go for that clean out, rather. Now, inside ball from Deportier, gets away to Belbare. Legatic goes across to Silbai. France having a majority of the possession throughout the last 10 minutes or so and really trying to force this Welsh defence back towards their own goal line. Nice run again from Galfiku, but he was rolling on the ground, so he has been penalised. And Wales will get themselves the penalty again. They are 25 metres out from their own line. Yeah, just crawling forward, which stops Sam Costello from being able to get the turnover in the breakdown. How much are you expecting France to win? I did predict Wales to, but I'll be honest, like if France went in with a 10-point lead at halftime, they'd be in a pretty good position. Box, I know Afrikaans, the American, says Ruth. 90 seconds remaining. Currently, lineouts 1 was seen 7-1 by the Welsh compared to the 3-1 by the French. Nicely claimed there by Wales. Now they're looking for that rolling ball to start marching. There was something in there though. I think a knock on. The ball travelled forward and it will now be a Welsh scrum. Sorry, a French scrum. And let's go Wales, rock and roll. Ruth at the pub barman. I give her a Mike Tina Turner. Says Blues Nate. And now 50 seconds remain. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the last 5 minutes, my eyes seem like they want to close. But they aren't going to. Throughout the second half, it's just getting harder to hold them open. I need a couple toothpicks or something. Might be quite handy. Currently 30 seconds remaining. This first half, Gregory Aldred, option off the back of the scrum perhaps. Could go short side. And live on Welsh S4C, click ideal with your commentary, Hamish, says BNJ. It is greatly appreciate you tuning in for this live stream. Anyone wondering about our clock in the game? We are sitting 39:53. But Aldrich goes off the back, this time actually going to the far side of the field rather than the near side. Quick hands from Ramos. Damien Pinot, ball on the outside, forward pass to Belbari. And that is now going to be halftime in this contest. And the score will sit at 20 points to 17. The French have got themselves the slight advantage, but it's not enough of one to feel comfortable going into this halftime break. They need more tries. Wales, I think they had some good moments throughout their half, scoring themselves the first try of the half. But in the end, the Welsh still down by the 3. We'll look through at some of these stats to do with this first half, ladies and gentlemen. And there are quite a few that are of note. Yeah, we'll go like this. And we will go like that as well. So currently, In terms of the statistics, we've seen 259 metres gained by the French compared to the 195 gained by Wales. We have got there, which part of New Zealand are you from, says Peter Mason. So I am in South Canterbury, so between Christchurch and Dunedin, about smack bang in the middle of those two. We're going to take care of yourself for doing the test stream. Tempting though, it might be, says Gus. Yeah, like I said, we're running off like 2 hours sleep in the last couple nights, but that's just the norm for the weekend at this point. Like, my eyes are very bloodshot. Hopefully, like, I think it makes it look worse because I'm also sunburnt, so that's not a good combo. But 62% possession in favour of the French currently, in the live win probability has them as a 72% likeliness of going on and winning this contest. 3 line breaks for the Welsh compared to the 1 of France, and also actually 12 defenders beaten by the French compared to the 7 that we have seen of Wales. So France having the advantage in that regard, but quite surprising that the line break stat is in favour of the Welsh. But then when you look at how they scored their tries and those breaks around the side of the breakdown, it does make perfect sense. Thanks for the commentary. I'm from George, South Africa, says Peter Mason. Yeah, it is greatly appreciate you being here for the stream. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got the Six Nations next weekend, where we are covering all 3 games. Also, Super Rugby, the 7s, is coming up around the corner. International Rugby, we cover it all on the channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. The Castle Beer is cold, flying like a waterfall here, says Ruth. Does New Zealand have soccer? We do. Like, in terms of the ranking of the men's side, it's not the best, but like it's relatively popular here in terms of that kind of schoolboy level. Awake South Canterbury, unsubscribe immediately, says, yikes, what's wrong with South Canterbury? They go all right in the rugby, don't they? And I am sure it's been a while. Good to hear your commentary again, says Arthur. It is greatly appreciated popping in for this stream, mate. Currently, we got ourselves a close game. Second half just around the corner. We have seen 7 handling errors from the Welsh compared to the 6 of the French. Might have to FaceTime her. The link is www. I'm going to bed. Come back later, bro, says Blues Nate. And come on, you Welsh Dragons. Another try, please, says Ruth. In terms of players who have stepped up, I think that Galfiku has been immaculate for the French throughout this contest. Damien Penaud has been a lot more prominent in this game than he was in the last. And then also, I would say Thomas Ramos at 10 alongside Legatic have just really gelled pretty quickly for 2 men who haven't played too much rugby together. Seeing as Legatic only with those 4 test caps. They always should make the World Cup, says Gus. Yeah, they missed out on the last one, didn't they? Just Joe's brother, just still unsub, says Yikes. That is fair enough. Which region are you from, Yikes? Out of curiosity, is it, where's South Canterbury's biggest rival? I guess North Otago? You're from North Otago? You probably live close to me if you are. So I'm kind of smack bang in the middle of both. In terms of the Welsh players who were able to step up in this first half, I thought Tommy Reffel was heavily involved. Also some great breaking runs from Rio Dyer. And then, say, Thomas Williams. He's had a pretty solid half of rugby as well. Another big yawn, but metres gained, like I said, 279 in favour of the French, the away side, compared to the 195 in favour of the home side here, Wales. Discipline, I think both sides have been all right. 2 penalties against both. Wellington, brother. So you bet us for the Ranfurly Shield, didn't you? If I'm correct, a while ago. And whereas Gareth Anscombe, so Warren Gatland, he had a few big decisions to make in terms of which players he wanted to rest for this contest. He decided to rest George North. He decided to rest Nick Tompkins. And I think Anscombe may still be a little bit injured. We have got there North Otago versus South Canterbury were epic games back in the day. Rio Dyer is my favourite Welsh player. Sees short videos, and yeah, he's been stepping up massively in the way that he's played for this game. This overrated Irish side will be demolished by Box. Can't wait. They are overrated. People say they are the best in the world while Box are the champs. What do you think about that? Sounds like you're trying to get me in trouble, is what I think about that. But, of course, it's going to be very interesting because South Africa, 2 times in a row, they have become the world champions. Ireland, for 3 times in a row, have beaten South Africa, but they haven't been able to do it in a long time in South Africa. So there's a lot on the line. There's an ugly rivalry forming between those two sides. Like, at first it was kind of like a bit of back and forth, bit of fun. Now, like, the two fan bases just absolutely hate each other. And it's pretty brutal, to be honest. But hopefully the environment at those games is one that is an environment that just wants to see a good game of rugby rather than seeing, like, the other side do terrible. And we have got there, I cried like a little boy, says yikes. And also, did Zanskin play any Six Nations game so far? I think he played the third, no, he may not have even played the first game. For them, I know they had Sam Costello, and then he got injured, so then they brought in an even younger guy as the number 10 for the next game and the one after. So no, I don't think he's actually had any minutes throughout the Six Nations competition. Liverpool defending well, Man City attacking, says Ruth. So is the score in that one still 0-0 then, Ruth? If that is the case. Second half of this contest, not too far away from getting started. Of course, it's going to be a very entertaining one. For anyone wondering about what is happening next week, it is going to be Wales versus Italy at 3:15 a.m. New Zealand time. So for working out the time zone, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere or South Africa, you just pretty much add an hour and change it to PM. So that game for Wales versus Italy kicking off at 4:15 p.m. rather than 3:15 a.m. NZ time. Ireland versus Scotland. If Ireland win that game, they do secure the Guinness Six Nations. But if they don't, then either Scotland or England could be the side who make their way through. And in fact, even France have still got a bit of a chance. If they win this contest comfortably, they could still be one of the 4 teams that could walk away with a Six Nations title. We have got there, what do you think about Razors All Blacks? Can they go toe-to-toe with the Box in the next few years? I think that it's going to take time. At the end of the day, we're seeing a much more established Springboks team at the moment compared to what we are seeing with New Zealand, seeing as they will have a lot of players going overseas and not coming back. There will be many players switched in and out compared to what we saw under Fozzie. But, you know, I think that no matter what happens, whenever those two sides play each other, it's a good match. And there's always that really respectful, competitive nature to the games of rugby, which is fantastic to see. And I hope that that continues throughout the Razor era as well. He's a sharp unit, says Fluffy. And Shorts, why you say Box 4, says Yikes. What's the top 5 fastest rugby player in your opinion? It's a tricky one. There's a lot of quick players out there. And I think that the size of the player probably does come into it a little bit in terms of like pound for pound per se. Like Cheslin Colby, if his legs were as long as everyone else's, he'd be right up there in terms of some of the quickest. Saying that though, there's a couple other very quick South Africans, not just in the Springboks, but also just playing in South Africa. The likes of Sinatla. You know, he's always one to watch out for when he is flying down the wing. New Zealand, I mean, Rico Ioane, probably the quickest off the mark. And definitely Farrell, says Ruth. And there in Wales, and wow, it's pumping here. Hysteric guys are going nuts, says Ruth. And as I Levi Moore is an exciting centre. He is. I think that he's been not as exciting this year while he's at the Crusaders. I think that he really stepped up for Moana Pacifica, and at the moment we are actually seeing Viliami Fine be maybe the next big thing for Moana Pacifica rugby. But yeah, hopefully he finds his feet in that midfield of the Crusaders and doesn't become a sub who just comes on the field and gets a few minutes at the end. Like currently they're giving him good game time, which is fantastic for him. But yeah, hopefully he gets that good form going when the Crusaders start picking up some victories. I can't keep my eyes open. Good night. Oh, come on, Wales. Good night. Says Fluffy. Do you think Super Rugby in its current form benefits expansion in the New Zealand game? I mean, I know that they're talking about adding some sides maybe in the future, whether that's going to be the Hikuares coming back into the competition, or perhaps it does involve some Japanese sides. I don't really know what their plan is as of yet, but like I think Super Rugby still has a very important role to play in terms of New Zealand and Australia's preparation for international rugby. It's changed a bit, of course, since South Africa and Argentina, and also Japan to a certain extent have left the competition. But Yeah, I think it's still beneficial for them because they get to have that rivalry up against Australian sides. And this year we're seeing it become more competitive than we are used to seeing. What did you think of England beating Ireland? I thought that it was a fantastic performance from the English, the best attacking rugby that we've seen from England in a very long time. And George Ford, he had his moments where he almost blew it for them. And in the end, Marcus Smith, the younger fly half, managed to get the job done. And Wales, boom, come on, boys, try. Says a Ruth. We are only a few minutes away from the second half getting underway, ladies and gents. Currently, Wales are sitting as a $3.20 underdog in this contest. They've still got plenty of time to be able to come back into this match. Still 40 minutes remaining. I'm wondering if Galfiku can have a half like he did in that first 40 minutes. I think the Wales will be in a little bit of trouble here. Favourite rapper? I don't really know, to be honest. I don't even know who my favourite artist in general would be, let alone like a specific genre. Looking through at the benches, Elliot D was no longer off the bench due to the injury of Ryan Elias. Came to his hamstring, I believe it was. Meant that Elliot D was promoted into the starting side for his 50th cap. Dimachowski at 17 and Dylan Lewis at 18. Then Man Martin, Davies, also Lloyd and Mason Grady, the last player off the bench for the Welsh available. For the French, they've got Pieto Malvaca, Tolfa Fanua, and also Columbe at 18, Tolfa Fanua at 19, that being Romain, and also Rumit Bodian going with the 6-2 split here. Luku and Mofana, the two back replacements as well. The Ice Cube says, was there from Roof in Switzerland, bet check. And Super Rugby good for exposing and development of Tier 2 teams, not testing for New Zealand, says Arthur Harrison. Of course, I feel like it's great news that Australia are becoming more competitive in the competition, mainly because like it will benefit New Zealand, I believe, in the long run as well when it comes to Razor deciding what he wants to actually go with as his All Blacks team. Like there's a few young guys who are stepping up big time in the Super Rugby comp, could find themselves in an All Black jersey later on in the year. I don't think either side will make too many changes at this halftime break. They'll be wanting to get back out there with the same 15, try and add that little bit more impact. I mean, Sam Costello, he's in a bit of a 50-50 half, but I don't see them taking him off early for Owen Lloyd as of yet. But, who knows, they might consider it. Although I'd give Costello another 20 minutes or so just to see how he goes. And if he makes any more mistakes, then that is maybe when you decide to take him off the field. But like I mentioned, there are 3 games back-to-back-to-back in next weekend's Six Nations, ladies and gentlemen. MC Pocky Big, the damaging best rap album ever, says, yikes, I have actually never heard of it. Fun fact, or probably not so fun if you're a big fan of him. Now both sides making their way out of the tunnel for the final 40 minutes of this match. Now it might be one of the most important 40 minutes for both of these sides in their Six Nations campaign. As you can see, the French are sitting in 5th on the 6 points. If they win this one and they do manage to score 2 more tries throughout the second half, they will walk away with the 5 points, putting them actually just behind Scotland with still a chance of winning the Six Nations competition. Whereas Wales, they need to win this game just to have their first win of the Six Nations competition. They would go ahead of France if they were to get themselves the victory, if they win it by more than 10, that is. But now it's going to be kicked off by the Welsh crunch time, says Arthur. Why don't you stream South African Varsity Cup games, says the Black Star Mon. I actually don't know where to watch those games. I haven't been able to find them here in New Zealand. Maybe I haven't looked hard enough. But also, I probably just don't know the players well enough to be able to comment on the games. We used to do the Curry Cup, and like that was a good way of us learning a lot of the South African players. But yeah, like Varsity Cup games, I couldn't actually name you the sides that are in that competition, let alone who's actually playing in them. And Liverpool just missed one. Ouch. Sears Ruth. It's an accidental knock-on there from the Welsh. From the French, I should say. I think that was actually Thomas Ramos. Looks like he might have hurt his finger in the process. He's trying to click it back in. That's a fair point, says Black Salmon. And yeah, there's also the fact that the games are in the middle of the night. We currently don't get enough sleep as it is. So, ideally, sleeping during the night would be ideal. If that makes sense. That wasn't a sentence, but then saying that my brain's that sleep deprived, I don't know what I just said. Do England stand a chance at winning the Six Nations? They do have a chance. That they have to rely on Scotland to beat the Irish to even have half a crack. As an Irish fan, didn't expect England to win, but it was a brilliant game and they deserved it. I should have held the ball for the last minute, but didn't. It did make the Six Nations less predictable, which is good. Says Brian. And yeah, it would have made it a lot less predictable as well if Scotland have pulled off that one up against the Italians, but due to the fact that they didn't, it now means that it is all to play for in that final round, and that game is still going to be a decider, just not quite as much of a decider as it could have been. And go France, saludos, desde Santiago de Chile, says Jorge. Who are the up-and-coming youngsters, or who are the up-and-coming youngsters? That was not a sentence. It could be in the ABs. I mean, Kenny Naholo, he has been talked about as a real good option. Also, maybe one of the young nines in the comp, whether that's going to be Xavier Rowe or maybe Cortez Aratama. More than likely Xavier Rowe out of those two, though, I would say would be a good choice. Now, another good attacking run forward. Thomas Williams goes off to the left-hand side. Sam Costello, flat ball to Tommy Reffel. Back on the inside. Got his offload away to Thomas Williams, who is 5 metres out from the try line. The perfect start to the second half for Wales. It's our 5 metres. They've got numbers. All they have to do is get it through the hands. Roberts gets greedy. I think that's double movement. They're going to say it's a try, but they may have to have another look at that to make sure that he didn't just mess up the opportunity. He got a bit selfish, Joe Roberts. And it is going to be, I believe, the try for Wales. I don't think they'll have another look at this one. Like they've just said, very lucky boy to get over that try line, because if he didn't score it, it would have been a massive mistake. What needs to happen for Italy to win the Six Nations? Everyone needs to get minus points. So yeah, no chance at this point. And whereas Chloe was at Loftus last week, balls demolished the Stormers. Great to see. Here we go. He's dragged down there, Roberts. So he has kind of jumped to the side, hasn't he, while he's on the ground. They've said 9 times out of 10. I'd say that maybe the momentum did carry him over. They must play the Springboks more often. So here's Arthur Harrison. Do England still stand a chance at the Six Nations? They certainly do, and youngsters just ruined a try. Says, yikes. That kick has gone over. 44 minutes in. 24 points to 20. The advantage of 4 for the Welsh. So similar to what we saw in their game up against the Scottish when they were able to get themselves early momentum in the second half. It seems like it will be no different in this one. Do you remember when Richie Mo'unga didn't want to give Will Jordan a record try in the semi-final against Argentina? I certainly do. We were calling that game on the channel, fun fact. And Italy are first in morale victory points though, says Gus. Now Dylan Lewis being put onto the field. That is to replace Azarati, who I didn't see a huge amount of, but then saying that we didn't see a huge amount of scrums. So, didn't have too much to do. Around the side of the breakdown, massive contact on Hurrimo Shaw. Counteract there from the Welsh. The ball still sits on the side of France though. Now around the side of the breakdown, Gregory Aldrit, Ligerich going off to Charles Olivon. Now Ramos changing the direction, try to go straight through. Tackle made by Gareth Thomas. Aldrit makes a couple extra meters, but onto the ball, Dylan Lewis. Does he get the turnover? He does not. Now Wales go, boys. Okay, Luke Pearce was saying there was too much doubt to be able to give the penalty. Now that's a nice pass. No, it wasn't. Goes just a little bit forward. And defence Wales, says Blues Nate. And Wales Go Boys, says a roof there. The crowd are not happy about it, but Charles Olivon just going forward to Barry. The French coach is not too happy with that one. So that was the golden opportunity for France to be able to get themselves back into this contest. Currently 46 minutes through. The second half is going to fly by. French have had 7 visits to the opposition, 22 compared to the Wales side who have only had the 3. But they've had a lot more points per visit to the 22. They've been clinical when inside of French territory, being able to score themselves pretty much the 3 tries throughout that time. Now, Thomas Williams, of course, Wales are 1 point away from a bonus point here. France need to win this game if they want to keep their hopes of a Six Nations title alive. If Wales win it, they will go ahead of the French and the Italians, but it will not actually do anything in terms of them being able to win the Six Nations competition. Balbari going on the outside now. Another forward pass. The French crowd are not happy with Luke Pearce here, but that is yet again another forward pass. Balbari that time, yeah, just drifting forward by half a smidgen. And Liverpool supporters going bonkers here. Says Roof and come on Wales, says Brian. Forward, says Blues Nate. Yeah, France just really, I guess, towing the line in terms of what is forward and what is backward in terms of some of these passes. But I think that is because they're just trying to get as much forward momentum as they physically can. And now the momentum definitely with Wales, who are sitting as still slight underdogs, $2.05 compared to the $1.82 of the French. A ball being fed in by Thomas Williams. No, doesn't get to. Front rows have gone down. Pierce saying just a little bit too much movement there. Quick reset has been asked for. Warren Gatland not looking confident at the moment. Knows that this job is not done and that all it takes is one try for the French to get them back into this contest. $32. I think will be minimum points for Wales to win this game. I know it's a weird number, but I think a penalty and a try, that would get them the bonus point and that would give them a lead of 12. Of course, an extra 14 points would be massive for them, but I just see them taking a penalty at some stage. Cross kick doesn't bounce up for Wainwright, who wasn't able to bend to get down to that one. Apologises for it. Thomas Williams, disappointed that he didn't go up and try and get that one. But it is interesting, the choices that Wales are making in terms of their set piece. They have gone with a few risks. They haven't been able to quite execute it throughout the second half, with the exception, of course, of that try early. Now the maul is called. It's available for Legaric to now put this one up high. Trying to charge that down was Tommy Reffel, didn't get a hand to it. Now Josh Adams at the back, passes it across to Cameron Winnett once again, going for the cross kick. That's optimistic. Rio Dyer, ball doesn't go into his hands, into touch instead. One more rugby stream after this, or done for the day. So this is the last rugby stream that we've got till Friday next week, I believe it is. I still haven't quite decided on the cricket. I'll be honest, I feel like if I do end up streaming it, I might fall asleep during some of it. But we'll try our best. But now Remonchon to throw this one in for the French. The French crowd starting to chant, as well as the Welsh supporters. They can tell that this is one of those games that can easily go either way. And whoever makes the least errors throughout this next little while. I'm only on 44 minutes on my stream. I have to pause, Yamish. Says Brian, that is chipped in behind. Winnett hasn't taken it cleanly. And Galfiku has managed to keep this ball in the field of play, and the advantage in favour of the French. And yes, you're asking a lot of Wales. That's all of their points, or this year's points for them. Says, yikes. If you do, then just schedule it in advance. Says Coding. Oh, Luke Pearce trying to make the tackle there on Thomas Ramos. Didn't see a lot of an arm wrap there from the referee. It is going to be a French scrum here due to the obstruction from Luke Pearce. And this is a good position for them. To be honest, I'll probably prefer this than what could have been. Changes being made by the French. I see Piotr Malvacha making his way onto the field. Dalpapanua as well. And a debut for the French. Maxime Lucu. I think I might have just seen him. And Pichet has said how many minutes is left. Still another 28 minutes remaining. So a relatively long time left in this contest. It's going to be a tricky one for both of these sides. And I feel like whoever has the better gas tank and whoever uses their substitutes better will be the team that walk away with a victory. But they still need those men in the starting lineup. We have good there, Hamish. Let's go to the gym and get you a girlfriend, says Luke. Although I don't think with my current sleeping schedule or with my schedule in general, I really have too much time for extracurricular activities, per se. And Hamish. The good news is I've been playing cricket this year, so I've been able to train a couple times a week with that. And also been playing on a Saturday, although now the season is over. But big bump off from Damien Pinot. On across to the left-hand side for Gregory Aldred. Numbers here for France, and they are rocketing towards the try line. Nice bit of work from Flamand. Wales looking to get the turnover in the breakdown. Weren't able to get it cleanly. Legatic looking after this left-hand side to Charles Olivon. This is the chance for France to take the lead back if they can get it over here. Good answer on the Bok Island question, Hamish. You diplomat, you. Will be revealed soon enough. Says Red Howe, penalty advantage in favour of the Welsh here. Yeah, I feel like maybe I didn't quite bite the way that they wanted me to in terms of saying which side. Because that's the thing, you can't win in terms of picking one of those two sides because then you have a whole fan base that gets annoyed at you on the other side of things. So it's best to just, I guess, watch the rugby down the middle and enjoy it. Just take one out then. Says yikes. And if the roof open, or is the roof open at the stadium? I believe it is for this game. And now France trying to open up their try-scoring tally for the second half. Legatic, couple metres out from the try line. Aldred wrestled down by his opposite number. Aaron Wainwright just hanging on to that breakdown, trying to stay out of the way. Damien Pinot passes out wide. Chance one-on-one. Thomas Ramos sits down, win it all. Players slipped over, but they're going back for the original penalty. What's the price for a flight from New Zealand to Cape Town? Probably like $2,000, I'd say. Something along those lines, but the penalty will be going back for the Welsh. Tell you what, this game can still go either way. And Liverpool on attack again, says Ruth. And High All and Hamish says, Robert, welcome in, mate. And possible yellow card for Pierce. Send him to the bunker, says Gus. Right, France, they're going with the scrum here. This is a good decision, or at least it seems like a good decision, because theoretically, for them to have a chance of winning the Six Nations, they still need to get themselves 2 tries in this contest. And this will also not be a 3-pointer, which means that they will have a chance of taking the lead if they actually score it. Total penalties conceded, only 3 against Wales throughout this game compared to the 2 of France. This has been a very good game discipline-wise from both of these two teams. Hamish, have you had any goals when you were a kid? One of them was to grow, which I think I've done, kind of. But then that was when I was like probably 5. But other than that, not really, to be honest. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I might be able to think of something outside of it being 5:15 a.m. But yeah, at the moment, I can't think of too much. 7th of September, South Africa versus AB's Cape Town. Hey, all your folks must come, please, says Arthur. Now 5 metres out from the line, round the side, Charles Olivon, another advantage going in favour of the French. They are down over the line. Luke Pearce has awarded it, and France get themselves their first try of the second half. It looks like it's the big man, Flamand, who has been able to score it. Come on, Welsh Dragons fight. And try France, says John. Now, the French will take the lead in this contest. Well, it's going to be a good finish in this game. And I feel like it's only right that this game is as close as the other games of this round in the Six Nations. Hang on. I think he's dropped that. I think they'll have to have another look at this. Because they were claiming the try, but I think that ball, yeah, that looks like it's lost. I think this is going to be a knock-on. Drop the ball, refs come in now. Says Blues, no, yeah, I think this is going to be a disallowed try for the French. They did already have penalty advantage, though, so there is a chance that if they don't score it now, okay, they are just going to be checking to see if there was a knock-on. Yeah, he's just thrown that at the line. That was quite a defensive stand by the Welsh. There's Gus, yeah, their defence overall throughout the Six Nations competition has actually been very impressive. So I think that's going to be the knock-on, which means that they would go back for the original penalty advantage. They'll still only be 5 metres out from the line. Yeah, Hamish knock-on. Says Blues, Nate. Yeah, there's a moment where there's no hands on that ball unless his hand is on it behind the player's thigh, which I think they are just trying to check here, see whether or not his other hand. Nah, there's clear separation. And that one, I don't think we need to look at that one too many more times, but it is going to be a disallowed try for the French, or at least it should be, although to be fair, we've seen the French throughout this competition have had the most interesting calls in their games, but it's going to be no try. They're going back for the original penalty now. And come on, Wales, hold on. Says Brian. The French fans are not happy. The Welsh supporters certainly are. And Luke Pearce, just saying that it's 2 in a row down here that you have given away. So you have to make sure that you don't do it again. Now, I believe that the scrum will be the option that the French will be going with. Looks like Thomas Williams will be making his way from the field. Owen Lloyd making his way onto the park. Gareth Davis also now on the field for Wales. I mentioned about whoever the bench is that does better could win this game. Some big changes made for the Welsh all at once, including Lloyd, who now needs to step up here. Told me Reffel, he's had a fantastic game for the Welsh. And come on, Wales, hold on, says O'Brien. And the thing is, they still need to hold on for another 23 minutes if they want to get themselves the victory in this contest. They're going to need another try, not just for the bonus point, but also for the sake of winning this game. Legatic, though, to feed this ball in now for the Welsh. It's a big push from the French. They've got themselves the penalty advantage. It's going to be 3 penalties straight from only 5 metres out from their own line here, Wales. Their discipline has been good throughout the contest. Only 2 penalties conceded throughout that first half. Malvak is in, good option down here, says Gus. Like they've said, they aren't going to relieve any of this pressure, France. They're going to keep on attacking more and more, try and get the French a man advantage over Wales, who would be playing with 14 if they give away maybe 1 or 2 more penalties in this part of the field. Now, because they've been for different things, I think that is something that has helped the Welsh out. Don't give up, Wales. Says Roof in yellow. Says Arthur in there as well. So, yeah, that was actually in the bulk of the first penalties we have seen conceded by the Welsh since around the 14th minute. There's been upsets in rugby lately. There certainly has been. 7 out of the 8 games we've seen this weekend for Super Rugby in the Six Nations have been won by the underdog. And now the penalty, in fact, the free kick goes the way of Wales. Little bit early. Hamish, your skin colour on your face back to normal after the sunburn. It's still a little bit red. I think it's maybe the lighting. If I go in certain angles, it's not too bad. My forehead's not burnt, which is good, but down here's there's a little bit of redness there. Nice Wales solid scrum there. Says Blues Nate, and massive reprieve from where they were on the field. A massive moment in the game for the Welsh. Ewan Lloyd not looking for the touchline now. Balbari charges back at this Welsh defensive line. Wales need to defend with their lives, or like their lives depend on it. Says Brian, a nice Wales solid scrums there. Legatic going back across to Ramos. And even though they did relieve the pressure for a moment, Wales, it doesn't mean there's not more now. Damien Pinot driving only 15 metres out from the line for the French. Ramos with the flat ball to Flamand, who almost scored the last try. Till it was disallowed. Now the big man on debut. A great word from Dylan Lewis in the breakdown. They already had the penalty advantage though for the Welsh. Sorry, for France for being offside. Now, like they said, no time for Wales to be able to retreat. I think Eldred might just be going over to the referee saying that's quite a few inside of this 22 recently, ref. And don't forget to like and show support to Hamish. Says, sure, yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are back next week with all 3 games of the Six Nations. There are some pretty good ones that are happening just around the corner. Wales versus Italy will be the first game that does take place in the 3 games in a row. Then Ireland versus Scotland, followed by France versus England. Now, this is an interesting choice because France have decided to take the 3 points here rather than going for the try. France try. Says O'Brien, still time for Wales. See, this for me, I want to say that this is a massive sign of the Welsh defence getting the better of France. But also, they just want maybe this game to slow down a little bit. And the point's over. It's going to close the gaps to put them within the 3. They want to reset here. Probably not a bad decision. But when you're on a hot attack like that, you would think that the best option would be to go for the 7, strike while the iron's hot. It's now the 10th time that France have been inside of the Welsh 22, but they have only scored themselves 2 tries, whereas Wales have visited the French 22, I think 3 times, and they have managed to get themselves a try every single time. No knock on, says Brian. Mason Grady now going to be on the field. Legatic. Now kicking it in behind. Nicely taken by Cameron Winnett. Goes to Lloyd. Ball is put high. Waiting for that one was Thomas Ramos. Goes for the kick of his own. Looking for the touchline. Doesn't find it. And it is taken by Rio Dyer, who now has space to be able to work. And he's been doing extremely well throughout this contest. Thomas Williams has been taken off the field. Same with Joe Roberts. 2 of the back line already off the park. And I believe they've also made the change of Josh Adams. I don't think he is on the field anymore. Who went off for Mason Grady? I think it was Josh Adams who did go off for him. Let's run forward from Rio Dyer. Now Kieran Hardy. Oh no, Josh Adams I think is actually still out there on the field. Well, it looks like that is a knock on from Wales. A mistake in the breakdown. Tried to go a little bit too quick there, Davis. I realised I called him Kieran Hardy before, so my apologies. But yeah, Gareth Davis, the man who has knocked that ball on. And I mean, Owen Lloyd knocked it on as well. So it's going to be a scrum feed for France either way. Charles Olivon will make his way from the field. Gets a pretty decent round of applause from the crowd. And we'll be impressed with what he's been able to do throughout this contest. Go on, Wales, says Richard Hardy. Vagumat, the man who is now making his way onto the field for the French with 17 minutes remaining on the clock now. It's still anyone's game. The other 2 games that we saw of the Six Nations this round, one was split by 2 points, one was split by 1 point. And this game now, sitting with their 1 points difference, maybe we even get the chance of a draw somehow. I don't think so, though. France have already had their draw in this competition. Plus, I mean, we'd have to see probably about 3 or so more tries in different regards for that to happen, or another penalty taken by the French. But now the pass on the outside. Belbari gets it away to this young 15. One more to Damien Pinot. Flying down the wing, look for the offload of Belbari. Brilliant pickup from Legaric, who has also managed to stay inside of the field of play. Ramos goes across to Gregory Aldred. One more penalty inside of this area of the field, and Wales could find themselves with 14 men on the field. Now going across to Flamand. 5 metres from the line. 2 Welsh players are in there off their feet. They do let go of the ball. Aldred goes across to Taufifanua. And yeah, Wales, starting to feel upset. Wales going to choke on a frog. D says yikes. Now getting just that little bit closer. 3 metres out, Legaric. He's had it called out wide. I believe that was actually the number 12, the Portier, who is on debut here. So a big call from him, but he's trying to get the ball from his young teammate, who's going to choose to go the other way. That's close. That is a try for the big man at number 18. He has to be over. Columbe. This has to be the try. A yellow knocking, says Arthur. And surprised Wales didn't get a yellow there, says Brian. Come on, Wales, says Richard Hardy. But I think that he has done enough there, the big man. Colum. Definitely worth a check. I can't see the ball, says Luke Pearce. Oh, no on-field decision, because the touch judge also did not see it. I honestly thought that this was a stock standard flop over the line from Colum. Yeah, it's fine. Like they said, he'll be pretty confident, as he should be, because he's just scored himself a big try there for the French. Yeah, it's nice and easy for a prop of his caliber. It is the try. But fair play there as well to Luke Pearce. Like, most referees would come up with an on-field decision without even knowing. He just said, look, I don't know. There was underneath a big pile of men, and I was not under that pile of men, so I could not see. But a great try for Colum here. 28 points to 24, but great line break and fantastic hands from Legaric, which helped keep that move alive. And then Colum getting the success of the try. Pat on the head from Galfiku for that one, but 15 minutes remaining. The kick from Ramos is good. And now the lead of the French has extended to 6 points. 24 points to 30. Wales are considered more heavy underdogs now, ladies and gentlemen. They come in as $5.25 unders. And everybody all together now, Wales, you fill in the blank. Says yikes. But I would say at the moment, the way that this game sits, momentum is gone from the Welsh, and they have to try and take it back. A little bit of... That was Belbari, yes it was, who managed to chase down Owen Lloyd. There's a lot of time remaining. 13 minutes or so, and the clock is going quick. And come back for a walk, or from a walk in the jungle. It looks like quite a game here. Yeah, separated by the 6 points. If this was the end score in the game, neither side would receive a bonus point in terms of the attacking, but defensively, the bonus point would go to Wales for being within the 7. Back across to the right-hand side. Owen Lloyd puts this ball high. Josh Adams trying to line it up, and he's tapped it into touch. Will now be the French ball. We are now hearing the French national anthem ringing out around the Principality Stadium. They think that they've got this game in the bag now, but Wales can change that if they can get one last moment just doesn't seem like it's really happened in the second half. Only 9% of the second half being played inside of the French 22, and that is nowhere near enough to put a side under pressure. Now Pietro Malvoca throws that one in. Nicely taken. Now rolling ball, starting for the French. The last thing that the Welsh will want is a yellow card here as well, so they have to make sure that their discipline is good. Pietro Malvoca manages to rip away from that tackle attempt of Rowlands. Galfiku in the midfield. Legaric goes across the room and Taufpifanua. A flat ball, Eldra. I think he's put that one down. As you know, it is still available for the French. Legaric, nice sniping run. Makes about 5 extra metres. Eldra now. Big fend on Lloyd. Sits him down. Moving up to 22 metres from the line. Ball is there though, and it's stripped by the Welsh. They managed to get themselves the turnover. Rowlands goes across to Dylan Lewis. Ball on the outside from Cameron Winnett. Loopy one. Hospital pass to Josh Adams, who won't be happy with that one. CSB, where's the jungle? Says Arthur. They are inside of their own 22 here at the moment, Wales. 68 minutes gone, and this one's still time. It's going to be all charged down by Roman Taufpifanua. He gets the try for the French, and that should almost seal the deal now. Should be too much to catch. They will check this to make sure that it's all alright, but Roman Taufpifanua manages to score his 3rd try of his career in his 51st game. Wales, come on, Frenchie's danger. Says a roof. Big celebrations there. The person who had $10,000 on Wales will be a bit nervous now. Don't mind my comments, Hamish. My stream is 5 or 6 minutes behind, so my comments will make even less sense than usual. Says Brian, it is all good. I assume in 6 minutes' time you'll put a thumbs up or something like that when you hear this one. You like Shane, bro? I go over shower, says VG, man. Yeah, just mistake made by the Welsh. Game, set, a match. Oh, I think it's pretty... Oh, did he knock that on right when he was trying to score it from a little bit of pressure from Wales? No, he didn't. He got that one down. I think I was being hopeful for the Welsh that there was something that could have gone in their favour, but now making the score with this kick. 37 points to 24. This seems like the kind of game that's given France a little bit of hope, and I need to mention this. Like, the way that they're sitting, theoretically, right? France, minus 17 points differential. If they can win this game by 22 points, they will actually go ahead of Scotland on the overall table. Now, 22 points would seem quite harsh, but then saying that, they're ahead by 13 at the moment, so another 2 tries would actually end up with them being there at the top. And then their game up against England has much more significance next week too. And my shout out at the bakeries this morning. What pies y'all want? Oh, I love a steak and cheese. I haven't had a steak and cheese pie in like a year, maybe even longer. Probably since the last time I told you guys I hadn't had a pie in a while. And send Wales to South Africa so our schoolboys can teach them some rugby. Says Errol. Now sitting 70 minutes in to the contest. And Hamish, there was a French blitzkrieg. Wales have to mountain to climb, and on the way, mate. Says Naz Williams. The ball available here now for the French. Elliot D has been taken from the field. And Evan Lloyd actually going to be there off the bench. Nice take from Cameron Winnett. Wales need 2 converted tries. 10 minutes. Jeez, that'll be all right, won't it? Right at the end of the game. Rio Dyer. He's had a good game, but unfortunately some of the other players for Wales just haven't quite stepped up to that same level. Now, I should mention, if Wales score themselves a try, they will actually get themselves a bonus point here. France score again, says Naz Williams. There's still potential. I mean, there are 9 minutes remaining in this game. Dylan Lewis hits that one up. They have to be clinical with the passes that they are making here. And France can't beat England unless they play next level That's the thing. People didn't think they'd be able to beat Wales unless they finally found their form, and maybe they're starting to find it here, the French. Couple little changes have been made, but they've looked a lot better throughout this game. Discipline, they've only given away, I believe, 2 penalties throughout this contest. 2 more tries, Wales, let's go. Says Blues, Nate. And Jared Blues, I'll chuck it on your tab. Says Nars Williams. It's 9 phases now in a row for the Welsh. Back into the pocket, it's been taken back. A lot of space to be able to work with. Domachowski. Taken down. A little bit of a slip there from Winnick before he had the ball, but he has managed to regather the footing. Regain the footing, I should say. No alcohol for Wales tonight. Temporary lift on prohibition. Lifted, sorry, guys. And that looks like it's going to be a steal in the breakdown from France. No, they get it straight back, Wales. They tried the counter-ruck, which almost looked like it was going to work. But then it went wrong. Kalum, he's a hard man to move, and he wins the penalty. He's taking a bit of a cheap shot there from the number 19. It looks like he may be injured here too. The crowd will not be happy with that one. Coming in late was Alex Mann, trying to get that clean out. Just a small release from Marmion. Yeah, flying in. Unfortunately, just broke, or not so much broke the elbow, but probably put the elbow the wrong way of Kalum, who is now back to his feet. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue in this match. 7 minutes remaining. And now France look like they're taking on the 3 points. This is a smart choice here for the French, because this will give them a lead of more than 15. And good story, bro, says Errol. And we saw Black Summer, I hope you're all good, says Blues Nate. Of course, he did predict that we would see a Welsh win in this contest. I also know that someone in the chat earlier said they had $10,000 on Wales. And I think that's probably a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen, of why you shouldn't bet in general, but then also on the Six Nations, because it's been an unpredictable competition at times. Thomas Ramos, 7 from 7. There's one strip club on the Welsh border closed. No fun tonight as usual for Wales. Here's a cool story, bro. Now 6.5 minutes remaining. Lining up this kick, Thomas Ramos. Can he get it over? And yes, he can. Fantastic kicking. 8 from 8. And that makes the score 24 points to 40. So their points differential at the moment for all. Their points differential currently for France is -1. If they score a try and convert, they go ahead of Scotland on the Six Nations standings. Yep, and that 10K, guys. Blessings. Lad says, Nate, tell you what, people have lost some big money in the chat this week. Like we saw someone in the Chiefs game, they put $1,000 on the Chiefs to then lose that $1,000. If it's not a perfect example of gamble responsibly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is. Now Maxime Luku, kicking that one into the sky. Nicely taken by Cameron Winnett. Now Ewan Lloyd. Big run forward at Kalum. 10K, you wouldn't need a strip club. Says Robert. And France are struggling with form, but Wales are dire. Says... I was there from half, although Rio's been all right throughout this game. Out on that left wing, trying to go for the kick in behind. Sits up there for Wales. Now 5 minutes left on the clock. They can still walk away from this game with at least 2 points. They probably cannot get the win from here, though. Thomas Williams does win the penalty. Takes the quick dab. Maxime Luko, I don't know if he was back the 10 metres. And once again, I've called it the wrong halfback. In this case, it is actually Gareth Davis. Wales, there was a knock on the ground. A quick dab taken by Gareth Davis. Don't gamble by Weed instead. Yikes. Just Josh Adams tries to get the ball away to Lewis, and it went a bit low. 4.5 minutes left now, and the scrum will use up another 30 seconds or so. Does look like this one will go the way of the French, which still keeps their hopes of a Six Nations title alive, ladies and gentlemen. And there's 4 teams that can go on to win the Six Nations now in the final round, but that is all heavily dependent on what happens in that Ireland versus Scotland game. So here Sol says the Black Samoan. They've just got a bit of a drinks break happening now. Referee says time back on. Wants to see who wins this contest. At the moment, it does look like, though, that it will be the French, the favourites. Legatic is the player of the match. Having a fantastic game. He gets a slap on the back of the head from his teammates. Oh, everyone's slapping him around a little bit. I think that's Jonathan Dunty who slapped him on the back of his head. He's been very strong. He probably needs an HIA now. Some big shots coming in from the sideline. Now, scrum feed for the Welsh gone down. It's going to be another scrum reset. Wales will be looking up at the clock, going, this is taking too long. They want a quick reset, but every time we have a reset, it uses up an extra 30 or so seconds of time that Wales do not have. Can Ireland still win on Saturday if England lost to France? Says Connor. Yes, they can. It depends on if Ireland, if they lose, but they lose by 8 points, that's when it gets very interesting. Definitely if they haven't been able to score all the tries, being 4. Step across the back of his head, HIA cricket boss. Says Blues now, vive la France. Says Punisher, but the ball is fed in by Maxime Luku. Now Aldrich has been told to use it, so goes off to Luku. Will put boot to ball. Does put this one into touch. Great kick. Cameron Winnet's not going to be able to take it cleanly as French root for Scotland, but France have a huge game against England. Dupont is missing. Although, Legatic getting himself man of the match here, I think he's going to be a really good talent for them in the future, this youngster. Only 4 caps to his name, 3 of which he's come off the bench. He stepped up here in his first opportunity in the starting lineup. Yeah, I think he's got a bright future. And at home, are France at home to England? They are, yes. So England would have to do it away from home. Scotland would have to try and win away from home as well. And then the Italians, they'll be heading to the Principality for the second week in a row. We are going to get to see Wales at home taking on. So it's actually going to work out that, I believe, if I'm correct, it's going to work out that the top 2 play each other. The next 2 play each other. Oh, no, not quite. It's almost like a semi-final layout, though, the way that it's going to be, except we don't, of course, have the playoff games. Whoever wins in those final rounds will walk away with that Six Nations title. And like and subscribe, folks, gets the lads up to 50k subs. Hamish is humble. I'm not, says Red Hell. So yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. And, of course, we will be back next week with all of the Six Nations action. Dylan Lewis, now with 90 seconds remaining on the clock. Thomas Williams goes away to this left-hand side. And France went from being down to now almost doubling the difference in the scores, says Katzanel. Off to the left, Rio Dyer. All went off his feet there for Thomas Ramos. Slows it down. Damien Pinot's actually ended up with the ball now. I think that could have been a penalty to Wales. But Pinot, he's going to go straight through. If they score here, they will go into the lead. In terms of compared to the Scottish on the table. Of course, Ireland's still number 1. You're doing all of them on Saturday. That is the plan. Hopefully the vocal cords and the sleep schedule will allow it. I'm thinking it's way too noisy. Everyone's shouting here. Wales need to hit that accelerator, says a roof. And there as well. Unfortunately, Wales are looking at a possible wooden spoon. And I'll be honest, the way that they've played throughout this competition, I don't think they necessarily deserve that wooden spoon. I think that they've been pretty decent overall. They've had some close games. They lost to Scotland by 1. They lost to England by 2. And then their game up against the Irish, they struggled a bit, but I thought that they did relatively well to almost stop the Irish from getting that winning bonus point. There are only 4 seconds remaining. There was the not straight throw from the Welsh. I think if you're France, you go for one more try here because point differential could actually come into it a little bit. Not so much with them in Ireland, but them and their second-ranked positioning. They get themselves a try, and now they will move into the lead ahead of Scotland in terms of that second place battle. I was up watching cricket late last night. That's why I was late coming on, says Robert. I believe the plan is to do the New Zealand versus Australia game that has taken place around the corner. The eyes are pretty tight, but we will still be awake for that contest. France scored again, says Roof. I mean, they've got a good chance, and they go to the short side. Beautiful inside ball to Damien Penaud. Got the offload away to Luku, and France have struck 45 points to 24 with a kick to come. And yes, let's get the lights up there, guys and gals, says Brian. And Menses equals people, says Arthur. But Maxime Luku scores the try. They're showing Mo Fun as if he was the one who scored it, but of course it was Luku. Got himself the try. Can't believe the change in Wales. They're tired, says Ruth. His first try for the French. Brilliant performance from Damien Penaud. He has been one of the keys for the French throughout this game. And then Maxime Luku just gets that nice inside ball. Wales and Italy might be the most two consistent teams, and not in a bad way, says Gus. Yeah, I think they've been decent, like I said. They just haven't had those standout, real brilliant performances like Italy have, I think. In their game up against France, they deserved that win. Didn't quite get it. In their game up against Scotland, they definitely deserve that win, being able to dig deep. Wales, says Errol. Yeah, but now lining up this kick. This to give them a lead of 23 points. Which will make the score not even close, almost doubling the amount of points that we've seen from the Welsh, who were down by 3 at halftime. They're down by a lot more. 100% record is no longer intact for Thomas Ramos. Does mean that the score at the end of this game, ladies and gentlemen, is 45 points to 24. We have got the Six Nations around the corner. We've also got New Zealand versus Australia. I'm hoping to do some of that test match a bit later on today. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.